New York street interviews. We have the questions, you have the answers. Should marriages be reviewed for renewal, like a license every 2, 5, or 10 years?
Okay, so we are engaged, just got engaged. We've been together going on 7 years. I do believe marriages should be renewed every so often. I feel like people grow and change just as an individual. So the question is, like, do you still match with that person as you're growing and evolving? So yeah, just to see if things still work, you still have the same goals or, you know, compatibility, just so you could save everyone time. There's less pressure. You can really enjoy the time that you have together, and just reevaluate some things, you know. Priorities might change, interests might change, they might not change together, and you can grow separately. So I think it's a nice little test to see if you still work. You don't think so?
As long as it's cost effective.
So I used to work under paralegal for divorces, and I experienced a lot of cases where people just wouldn't sign because they were being evil, or because they started this business with someone, and if they divorced him, they would take half. So I feel like every 5 to 10 years, it is, let's say 5, because you change a lot in 5 years. You should do a retesting, and it should not be, it should be mandatory. It shouldn't be something that you can decide. It's kind of like how when you're an immigrant and you need to be tested. I think that should be for marriage too, because some people are stuck in situations and they can't even speak about it. So yeah, they should do that. And I would never get married because I like my money.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yes.
Every 5 or 10 years. I'm good.
Yeah.
5 years sounds about right.
5 years sounds good. Yeah. Every 5 years, check in. Do you still want to be married with this person?
With like a arbitrator that
Sure.
Works.
Yeah.
you guys are all in on that.
Yep.
100%.
I'd say no. I don't think so. What do you say?
That's a very loaded question. I think that marriage to individual couples should kind of be like their own thing. So whatever, I guess, contract you have in your marriage, if it works for you, that's totally fine. And I feel like if a renewal is part of that contract and, you know, you get benefit in your marriage from doing that, and it benefits your family and your kids, your faith, whatever it is, I think that's totally fine. I think like the part where it gets touchy is when the renewals come because of, I guess, violations in the marriage before. And so like I've seen a lot of people do it after like there's been cheating or affairs, and I don't know about that, but hey, like whatever works, I guess.
I just say no. That's a long question, the long answer. I say no.
No renewals for you.
No renewals.
I think everybody's entitled to do what they want to do, man. You know, I think that, you know, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If it's not, it's not. That's
I
it.
feel like you wouldn't need to do all of that. But I don't know,
Right.
each their own.
Yeah. But, you know, at the same time, yeah, man, you know, depending on the situation, too, you know, love is love, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's either going to work or it's not, or it's going to be it or it's not. So
That makes more sense to me than the traditional idea of marriage. So for me, the answer would be yes. I think that I actually have friends that's kind of what they do, like between themselves, like every year or so, they sit down and they talk about like where they're at and what they want from life, what they're looking for in their partnership. And I think that what they have, what I've seen, works very well. So in my opinion, yes, I think that would be wonderful.
I would say it depends on the factors and the reason for negotiation. You know, if it requires negotiation, then why not? As long as there's compromise between the two.
Here's what I think, though. I think marriage should not be documented at all. Like, it shouldn't even be like a documentation. It should just be an agreement between a man and a woman. The issue with marriage is that people, like, you have to documented, signed documents, signed papers. I just think that that should be completely eliminated. And that way it's just a partnership between two people. And then if it's not working, you just walk away. You don't have to worry about a prenup and all that extra stuff. It's not working, I'm out.
Because today's society treats it as a business.
Yeah, it's a business.
Instead of actually, wanting to be with each other.
Yep.
It's like, all right, I'm going to leave you and I'm going to take half. So
yeah.
I actually agree with you. We'll be like, in the 5 years, we could talk about where we're at.
5 years might be too long. Might need to talk about it in 6 months.
Every 6 months.
Every 6 months. Depends on the situation. But yeah.
Because people marry for different reasons, especially in today's climate, with everything.
Yeah.
People marry for different reasons. Before, people used to marry because they were actually in love. Now it's, I'm marrying this person so I can get a green card so I can stay in the U.S. Or I can have this passport. It's more so like having a step of status.
Or if you live in New York, you just want to get married, so everything is cheaper.
Yeah, that too. That is too.
Life is cheaper.
And a lot of people in New York here stay together, even though they're going through. Because it's cheaper to stay together than to separate.
When you split everything, it's easier.
Seriously, because I feel like in today's age, people are like getting divorced very quickly, and marriage isn't as sacred as it used to be.
Yeah.
So I feel like these days, if you don't know if you're gonna want to be with someone fully for forever, then revisit the table and see what happens.
Yeah. I don't think so, because then why would you get married in the first place if it's not a mutual thing? Because you're getting married at the end of the day.
But things change. People change.
Things do change, and then that's when a marriage breaks off. But I don't think that someone should intervene every 5 years or something like that, because I think it should just go by its natural way.
You go. Go ahead.
In certain cases, possibly, but in ours case, no. It's good for life.
It's good for life.
So in the case of possibly, what do you feel would be like a reason?
I mean, if they're miserable and 5 years passes by and it's about to expire, then they don't renew. Then they don't renew.
I agree. But we're good.
Yeah.
We're 3 years in, so.
No complaints.
No complaints yet.
Congrats, guys.
Thank you.
No, but if it's real, it's I don't think it should be revisited, right? It's pretty great. As long as you communicate and you express what you feel at all times, you should be fine. 100%.
Also, quick shout out to Karam Haroon, my brother. But yes, it should be revisited every 5 years, and there should be like someone to like an intermediary, Yes, it should.
So she don't run away with your thing.
Exactly.
Thinking.
Yes. That's my thinking.
But that's a real good idea, because you can, because you're getting to know one another. So you can have like a little contract, and say, hey, let's separate or let's stay together. So I think you should have that, That's pretty good. And people probably stay together or they can split if it don't work. Just opinion. Saw something new.
I feel you're like, yeah, that one is a good one.
That's
right?
a good one. Might make me want to get married.
Yeah.
Then I can say, hey, it don't work. You go this way, I go that way.
I wasn't involved in the decision to get married. They were involved in like the process and the actual action, but they weren't the ones to like decide on behalf of both people if like they should they should do it to begin with. So I don't think you need a third person, like a third party, to like revisit marriage every 5 years. I feel like that is a good practice for people to like check in and be like, yeah, like I'm in this for like the next 5 years or whatever. But I don't think you need to bring in an external party into that, personally.
Damn, I can't even answer nothing about that because. Ooh, you're not even married. How you know?
Spending that money one time.
That's a great question. I honestly do. I feel like monogamy is a very interesting topic. I feel like it's temporary. I feel like it could last for only so amount of years, and then after a while, you should check in with your partner if you have interest in any others. And I don't know, maybe that can actually revamp the marriage or whatever bond that's present. So yeah, I actually do think you need to check on it like a pulse.
That is smart. I believe that is smart. That is a good idea because people change. So you're not the same person you married 5, 10 years ago. So you deserve the chance to give it a second look. I think so.
First, let me say, I do not believe in marriage because it does not guarantee that the person you've married is going to be loving and committed and in your corner. That said, I love going to a wedding and I support any of my friends, family, and loved ones who choose to get married. If you choose to get married, I agree. Let's revisit this every 5 years. Make sure we're still on the same page. Things change. And I don't think we should have the expectation that what started one way at the beginning is going to stay that way for forever. We change. I hope I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago, and I hope I'm not the same person I'm going to be in 5 years. So I agree. Long answer.
Here you go. Loaded.
Okay. I don't think so. I don't. The driver's license definitely, but marriage, I feel like you could just revisit all the time. You should just be revisiting it. Yeah, revisiting it all the time. If you like, so every 5 years, I guess. But that kind of just like I feel like that'll just like push people to just make their relationship shorter because they know that there's like a 5-year expiration date that they could at least have an out, and when in reality you have an out whenever.
New York Street Interviews. Like, comment, follow, subscribe, love, laugh,